Hello and welcome to Wednesday, the day of Wednesdays. I knew it was Wednesday. I was gonna say Thursday because it is technically Thursday, and the clock just rolls over to Thursday. Anyway, it's Wednesday. So a couple things happened. First off, night was kind of weird because there were like drones flying overhead. Who knows why, but a couple things. So yesterday I talked about the whole tofu making a sauce thing, and that worked out super well. So I figured, well, I have another block of silken tofu. What can I do? And as I was browsing, trying to figure out what I wanted to do with it, I figured dessert might be an option. So I saw this dessert. I forget the name of it, but it's essentially just brown sugar syrup mixed with silken tofu. I was like, cool, I can do that. So I took a pot of water and took some brown sugar and boiled it. And this led to a comedy of errors. So where do I begin? Well, first thing that I did was I got a pretty small pot because I wanted to make it a kind of like a thick syrup and not necessarily. So the recipe I was using said 2 parts water to 1 part brown sugar, and it was like 2 cups water to 1 cup brown sugar, I believe. So I grabbed a bag out of the dark brown sugar. Grabbed a bag of brown sugar out of the pantry, and it had it had a little bit more than a cup of brown sugar, so I was like, okay. But this is light brown sugar, so I added molasses, and while the recipe called for fresh ginger, I didn't have, so I just got ground ginger. Totally fine. I didn't care that much, and it shouldn't be that big of a deal. So I added the 2 cups of water. I added to a small pot, and then I set it to boil. So now this is where the first of many issues came up. Because I wanted to make it a thicker syrup as opposed to a thin, very thin syrup, I would need to boil this for quite a while. I could have added less water, and in hindsight I probably should, but I didn't. So I was there boiling this thing for an excessive period of time. And if you're familiar with boiling water and sugar, it spilled over all over the stove. And that sucks because sticky stove is not good. So I turn the heat off, take the pot off the stove, clean it up, go again. And I looked away, and it boiled over again. This continued to happen 3 more times, for a total of 5 times. Because I'm a fool, and I didn't learn. So, I boil it till it's very thick and viscous. I put it in a bowl, and I put it in the fridge. I then proceed to clean the stove, and this is where the second many issues come up. The stove cleaning went well, so I returned to the fridge, and I realized that I made a very thick caramel. So, I take a larger pot this time, put it on the stove, toss in the caramel, add too much water, make it a syrup again, but this time it is too loose, and at this point I am defeated. I just toss it with the tofu, let it sit for a little bit, and enjoy it. And it was okay. It would have been nicer if it was thicker, but I was just fed up, and I just guzzled that down so I could throw the rest of the remaining liquid into the drain. And so I did. And that was that. It was annoying. It was a waste of time. I hated it. It sucked. But, well, we'll just deal with that whenever. It was a nice experiment. And you know, it was fun. It was fun in the moment, and it was a learning experience, but every moment of that, I was just realizing how stupid it was and how dumb I was doing these things, and I should have done it better if I thought I had just the tiniest bit. And this led me to think of something I learned from watching Mythbusters, and that is failure is always an option. And, you know, don't beat yourself up if you fail to do something, because, you know, I learned quite a bit. I learned to not be stupid. In this case, I will use a larger pot next time. I will think. I will use less water. I won't blindly follow a recipe if I know how to intuit to make it better. And I knew how to make this better, and I figured I'll just follow the recipe. Nope. I just didn't think. And if I thought for a couple minutes, maybe a couple seconds, I would have figured it out. And yet, I didn't. But that's beside the point. I ended up cooking off some of the mushrooms. I bought some king oyster mushrooms the other day, last week, Friday, and cooked them off tonight. Came out pretty good. The sauce that I made, excellent. Used it on the mushrooms, wonderful, wonderful. Used it on some rice that was made, incredible. I think that sums up everything that I had bought, other than just some herbs from the... Oh no, there's still some more tofu. It's firm tofu, so we'll be cooking that off tomorrow, maybe Friday. And, you know, it was... Today was an endurance, but that's fine. So, we'll pick things up tomorrow, and hopefully I will think when I cook, because thinking is good. We have a brain. I should probably use it. And in this case I didn't, but I think I can use it tomorrow. Anyway, that's what we're going to call it for today. It is windy as heck outside. Slightly below freezing too, so got to take care of that. Okay. Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you tomorrow. And until then,